You've never financed a car before. It's difficult for them to do such a large purchase for a first-time buyer.
The dash is 220. 220 on the dash. My Beamer is 160 soon. That's insane. That's that real power.
He wants a Hellcat Redeye. His mom is co-signing and the dealership is basically saying, how about we start you off with training wheels first?
He's looking at a 23 Hellcat Charger Redeye jailbreak. It's the first time he's buying a vehicle. Him and his mom are on the deal. They got good credit, but just no auto history. That's the problem. Banks don't really want to do something around the 70 to 80,000 like the Hellcat. That's the only issue. Because you've never financed a car before. It's difficult for them to do such a large purchase for a first-time buyer. So what they want to do is they want to test you out. They want you to get a loan on a cheaper vehicle. I know you're really set on that Hellcat, but you got to build up to it.
First-time buyer, so the bank wants to play it safe. They're saying, let's start you off with something less Hellcat, more Housecat. And maybe we'll talk upgrading if you can survive the first year. Of course, everybody wins but the buyer. The bank and the dealer make money. The buyer gets hit with the term everybody hates so much, negative equity.
So I'd recommend going with a Scat Pack, something around 40,000 in that range. I have a really nice smoke show gray with the black hood, wide body Challenger that just came in if you're interested in Challengers. But starting off with something like that, making at least a year's worth of payments, then you call me back, hey Gus, I made my year's worth of payments, my score's gone up, I got 100% history rating with that bank, put me in a Hellcat. Just a recommendation I like to put out there, because honestly right now, if you run your credit anywhere else, all you're doing is adding more hits onto it.
So the dealer's basically pitching him the starter pack. Get a Scat Pack now, stop credit shopping like it's a hobby. And they'll consider letting him near the big boy toy later. They're basically asking him to get into debt on the junior car before they let him graduate to the debt he really wants.
Dropping your score more, and then there's an even worse chance that you might not even get an approval on a Scat Pack because they see you shopping around without purchasing anything.
With the Scat Pack, that's not really attention grabbing. You know, everybody has that.
Yeah. You can make payments on anything close to that range.
It sucks because I had a 780 credit score not that long ago. But what I was thinking to do is like getting that car and then just trading it in for like a supercar or something after that.
He's got no interest in a Scat Pack, dodging the typical debt detour, starting where most people hope to end, skipping the usual steps. Expensive car now, trade it for supercar later. He's convinced the fast track to standing out is skipping the ordinary car and jumping straight into a showpiece.
Yeah,
I just don't have the credit for it, so I literally can't even do that.
It's going to be very difficult because those types of deals are way more strict. If you get a better cosigner, if it's close to what your mom's score was or higher, that's even better. If they got the history of paid auto loans, that's way better. They just need to see that history on there, and they might give me a little bit more room, go up on the price, so then I can see how much I would need down to get it done.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good, guys. I appreciate it, man.
Not a problem. Have a good one.
In the end, his credit profile said no. The dealership suggesting a different cosigner just highlights the obvious. If you're not approved on your own, it's not just a car that's out of reach. It's the whole debt dream. The idea of chasing a lifestyle on borrowed money.
2023 Dodge Challenger SRT Redeye jailbreak. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. This car is a jailbreak. Comes with the monkey brass wheels, the Brembo brakes, with the red guts, 2-door coupe. Beautiful spec. Check out the inside on that. Beautiful inside. We go ahead and pop the hood. Look at that. That's that supercharged Hemi. It's completely stock. Nothing done to it. Regardless of that, the dash is 220. 220 on the dash. My Beamer is 160 soon. That's insane. That's that real power.
That is a car everyone and their mom is willing to go into debt for. Because nothing says smart financial decision like 700 horsepower, a monthly payment more than your rent, and a future trade-in that'll leave you upside down.
Well, this is what it feels like to be in a Hellcat.
This is what it feels like. You take this black key and you give it to whoever you want to drive the car, right? So what happens is when you with the red key, you can go in here and you see how it says 500 horses? With the red key, when the red key is in use, you see it right here. It says red key, right? That's when you can really change to 797.
Everyone's after that red key to unlock all the power. But with a low credit score, most people are stuck with the black key. Limited performance, just like their borrowing power. They're chasing a thrill. But all they're really buying is debt they likely can't handle.
Horses of straight American raw power. Let's go for a spin. Let's do a little pull. Man, that's that $797. This stock, by the way, bro. That's insane. Guys, pull up. All we need is your driver's license, your proof of income, a couple of pay stubs. That's it. We get you rolling out in this car today. You don't even need a down payment. 0 down. We'll get you rolling.
They'll let almost anyone drive away. No money down, a pay stub, and barely any real proof you can afford it. Before you know it, you're in a car you don't need, with an interest rate you can't afford, and a loan that'll outlast your enthusiasm.
You guys didn't like the interest rate we got? What were you hoping to get?
At least 8.
Where were you coming up with that rate?
The undercredit bureaus have them at 650, not 530 or whatever it's
Yeah,
showing.
so the auto scores, I've got a 534 on TransUnion and a 586 on Experian. We don't pull Equifax because nobody around here uses Equifax. You can get different scores. Like a lot of times people look at Credit Karma or something like that, but that's not an auto score. We use the auto score, and that's what most of our banks are going to use.
If you're surprised the dealer's looking at a different score, that's the first sign you shouldn't be there. Credit scores vary a bit. If your score isn't strong, it doesn't matter which one they check. You need a solid score before you walk into that lot.
Where did you see a 650 score?
Experience.
That's not an auto score. Our auto score on Experian's a 586. Obviously, everybody wants the lowest rate they can possibly get, but a couple points isn't that big of a deal. It gets you into a newer truck and that sort of thing. That alone is just the only thing that's killing it.
We're working on that because it's just the X. And
I'm sorry, that sucks.
trying to get off of that. So we know. We're working on trying to get that off of there, but it's hard.
Yeah. Honestly, for what I'm looking at, the 10%, I know it sucks. I know it's not what you want, but it's a pretty good rate.
A double-digit interest rate is never good, no matter what they say. The score was damaged by a loan tied to an X. And now, even though they're trying to move forward, every lender sees that risk and charges more.
For what we're working with.
I understand. Do y'all do any law enforcement discounts?
Yeah, I can take $500 off. Absolutely.
All right. Well, we'll think on it and then call you back.
Okay. Perfect.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay, so we'll give them a little bit to think about, and then we'll follow up with them. It's a tough one. They've got an auto loan from his ex-wife that he was on, and she's not paying it very well. And so it kind of screws him because his overall credit's good other than that one loan. It's putting him in a tough spot, but he's got a truck that has 400,000 miles on it, so it's also reaching towards the end of its life for sure. So you got to kind of decide what you want to do there. We're going to follow with him in a little bit, see if we can't make a deal.
He's on the loan with his ex-wife, and when she stops paying, it hits his credit score too. But that's exactly why he's on the loan. He agreed to step up and make those payments if she couldn't. And right now, he's not holding up his end.
This report that came out today is unbelievable. The people that traded in cars in 2026 and bought a brand new vehicle averaged $7,000 of negative equity. And people are just buried in their cars right now. I had a customer come in today. They were $10,000 upside down. If you had the best credit I've ever seen, do you know how hard it is to get $10,000 of negative equity carried? It's almost impossible. Average price of a new car, high 40s, low 50s, somewhere in that ballpark, with $7,000 of negative equity makes that car 50, 60 grand.
People know they're rolling their debt in. They see the negative equity, but they convince themselves it's a fresh start. In reality, all they're doing is burying themselves deeper. Another loan, another cycle, and the debt never goes away.
To give you any idea, $7,000 alone on a monthly payment is about $140 a month. And that's on good credit. On bad credit, that's about $210 a month. On a negative equity basis, that was the second highest reported quarter ever. The first highest was 2025 quarter 4. That is just a wild statistic that $7,000 on the average trade-in on a new vehicle, that is just, it's mind-blowing. And I would almost bet that $3,000 to $4,000 of that negative equity probably has to do with dealer add-ons. Just my guess.
The dealer add-ons aren't just extras. They're buried costs that inflate the loan, turning a car into a financial acre before you even leave the lot. These add-ons just pile up, adding thousands to a loan that was already out of reach. And most people only realize it long after they sign.
This $72,000 truck actually ends up being over $117,000. Let me show you how. This is a 2026 GMC Sierra 2500 AT4. It has a starting price of $72,200. Then it has a delivery fee of $2,795. Then it has a manufacturer add-on for the 6.6-liter turbo diesel Duramax engine for another $9,990.
What started as an already expensive sticker price climbs even higher when they add in a $2,700 delivery fee and a $10,000 engine package. Engine sold separately because apparently just buying the truck wasn't enough.
The AT4 Premium Plus package is an additional $5,035, and then the fifth wheel package is another $545. That totals out to another $15,570 in manufacturer add-ons. Now, the manufacturer also gives a $500 discount. However, the dealership then adds another $199 for nitrogen, $299 for the door edge guards, $499 for tinted glass on 2 windows.
They add on thousands in extras. And right in the middle of all that, they mention a $500 discount, as if that tiny number balances out all the rest.
$1,495 for low jack, and another $24,999 for the 8-inch lift kit and 24-inch wheel and tire upgrade. All of which brings the total listed price to $117,556 for this Sierra 2500 AT4. Just to give you some perspective, if you added an 8% sales tax to that and then financed that total amount with $0 down at an 8% interest rate for 72 months, which is a total of 6 years, your monthly car payment would be $2,206.03 a month for this GMC Sierra.
After all those add-ons and interest, the monthly payment ends up being more than many people pay for rent or a mortgage. At that point, it's not a truck payment. It's a second housing payment with wheels. And if you're signing up for that just to sit higher in traffic, you might want to think long and hard before you sign. That's it for this one. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.